Hi friends! Today we're going to start a new series. I have this book of 500 art prompts here. It's pretty old and a little beaten up, but I can still read the prompts, so we're not going to worry about that. This book is actually my mom's. She bought it years ago so that she could keep it on the coffee table in her living room and anyone who felt like it could open it up and draw something inside. That's why she's written this bit of text on the front. So because this copy of the book technically isn't mine, I won't actually be drawing in it. All of my brainstorming will be done digitally. I plan to return this book when I'm done with the series, so I want to leave it the way I found it. It ended up with me, though, when I moved to my own apartment, so I guess I'm doing this now. After having it for years, though, I discovered and was inspired by Casey Golden's series with the same book. In her series, she does multiple prompts per piece, but all of the prompts must come from the same page. I've always wanted to combine the prompts from this book, but I'm going to do it in a different way to ensure that my series is unique from hers. So I'm going to combine multiple prompts from random pages, and I'm going to let my friends choose the page numbers for me. If anyone in the comments wants to suggest numbers for me, you can choose 2 to 3 numbers between 1 and 236. Each number that you give me will correspond to a page number in the book, and then I must choose a prompt from the pages that I'm given. To make it simple for the first episode, though, this time I'm just going to use the prompts from the first page and from the last page. On page 1 here, my choices are waterfall or wizard staff. Keeping that in mind, let's flip to the last page, and we've got your favorite animal in a tuxedo. Alright, let's take this to the computer. So let's write these prompts down so I don't forget them. I've chosen waterfall as my prompt from page 1, so wizard staff will be available for a future video. As far as my favorite animal goes, though, I kind of tend to go through phases of favorite animals. It's usually some type of bird, like at some point it was a bald eagle, and then a blue and gold macaw, and a bearded vulture, but right now it's a flamingo. Almost purely because they look so ridiculous. Imagine trying to take someone seriously when they're bright pink, shaped like spaghetti, and have a face in the shape of a ladle. Like, what even is that? So I know I want to get a rough sketch down here from my brainstorming. I'll draw a flamingo and kind of roughly throw a tux on him. It's really hard to fit a tuxedo on a flamingo, honestly. But let's give him a bow tie and maybe some long coattails. That could be fun. And then I'll try to get a background done here. I like circular backgrounds, so I'll go with that and then throw a waterfall in. And let's put some more flamingos in the background, why not? That'll help make it interesting, I think. Okay, I'll move this off to the side so I can keep brainstorming though. Putting a tuxedo on that bird made me realize it'd be easier if I went with an anthro version, so I'm gonna try that out. He gets a bow tie too, of course. And then the same idea for the background, waterfall down a cliff, more anthros in the background, some kind of weird furry business meeting, I guess. Honestly, I'm way more into the idea of just a regular flamingo in a tux, but maybe there's a little mix of anthros and normal ones in the background. This universe can't decide which version belongs, maybe? I don't know. Though now that I've drawn this, I think it would be a lot funnier if they were all regular flamingos, but then there's maybe just one anthro guy in there. Yeah, honestly, I like that idea the most out of all of them, so I'm gonna pick that one. Let's draw the real piece now. I'm gonna start off with an oval so I know where the borders of my background will be. This is how all my background pieces start off. I just start with the basic shape. And then I'll get a super rough flamingo shape on here so I can see how much he's gonna cover and what I need to leave room for. I like letting the subject of the piece break the borders of the background a little, so we'll have his head pop out, but I'll tuck his feet into the frame. And now that I've got him done, let's add a little cliff top in the background. And then the waterfall and the mist as it crashes down. And then I want to add another one kind of cascading down the side over here too. Multiple waterfalls, keep it interesting. My flamingo is covering too much of it, I think, so let's move him to the left here, and then I can add the rest of the pool. And I want this to be a forested area, so I'll put some trees around the edges. And then, of course, I'll need to add his flamingo friends in the pool back there. Here's that random anthro one. I like the idea of him just sitting in the water like he's helpless and doesn't know why he's there, what he's doing, or why he exists. He's just thinking. What better place to think than in a pool? In the wilderness. Surrounded by people that look like distorted versions of you. Ugh. Okay, I'm pretty happy with how the ref sketch is looking, so I found a reference photo that kind of reminds me what I'm trying to go for, so I'll put it here so I can color pick from it. And then I like the blue color of the sky in this one, so I'll just snag that really fast and take it to my oval. I'll fill that in and add a little gradient, give it a little bit of a light source. And then I've got a special brush here that I like to use for clouds and other fluffy things. I'll scratch some clouds into the open space here, and then I'll take a dark blue and go in with the same brush to give them a little bit of shading. Let's lighten that up a little, and that looks good. I'll keep it like that. So now I want to go in and add the cliffs, so I'll take a brown from this piece and then go in and start to pencil in the rough shapes. I'll use a darker shade to do this closer one. That lighter one will be pushed into the background more later, but for now I'll just work on this one. I kind of like a rougher, less refined look to my background, so I'm not going to be very precise with my lighting or my shadows. I'm just going to kind of throw them down wherever I think they'll look right. And then we'll go back in with a fluffy brush and top off these rocks with some moss too. Okay, I'll give it a rest on the cliffs for now and then get started on the tree line. I'm just going to start with a bunch of trunks and then I'll add roots where they'll be visible. I'll get these shaded, throw some leaves on top. I'll do a variety of greens to separate them from the color that I used for the moss too. And now let's add the water. I like the turquoisey color in my reference, so I'm gonna go for that. I'll add the small waterfall first and get all the various mini pools in along the cliff face. And then I'll go in with the big one. I'll put some rough shadows on there, and then I'll use my fluffy brush again for the mist. I really like this brush, honestly. It comes in so handy whenever I need to do backgrounds. It's good for a variety of different textures and objects and effects. And now let's add a little bit of texture to the water. I'll start with these little circly shapes, just kind of throwing them down where I think they fit, and then copying them across almost the entire pool. I'll stop by the waterfall and try to blend those into the rougher waves that would be happening over there. Okay, let's call the background done for now. I'm gonna do a clean sketch for the flamingo. I've got a reference up on my other monitor. I kinda like the pose with the head held up high. It makes him look confident, and he is a dapper businessman after all, so he's gotta look like it too. I usually draw animals in a much cartoonier style, but that's also just kind of my anthro style. I can also do semi-realism, like with this. I thought about going cartoony with this, but I think choosing my more serious style for a piece with a bunch of flamingos and tuxes just makes it funnier. Especially because I've never actually used this style to draw a flamingo before. I've drawn an anthro flamingo and some cartoony rainbow flamingos for a jigsaw puzzle. And my bathroom is flamingo themed, so I drew a simple piece to print and hang on the wall in there, but I've never done one like this before. I feel like this is making me realize even more than before just how weird they look. Now that his lines are all finished, I'll just turn him gray so I can see what he looks like against the background, make sure he's not covering too much or that I haven't left an unfinished portion of the background exposed. Looks good though, so I'll color him in now. I think I'm gonna go for a light flamingo. It'll look good against the dark suit, and then I think it'll help him stand out since there aren't a ton of super light colors in the background there. Okay, now let's throw the other flamingos in the background. I'll do a couple different colors, but I'm gonna do it lineless and more cartoony. I just feel like it'll help keep the focus on the main flamingo up front, but also adds a little extra goofiness when you really squint and go, why do those other flamingos look so stupid? I don't know, it's a picture of a flamingo business party. I'm not taking it too seriously. I don't think one should take it too seriously. Though I'll admit, it would probably be even funnier to someone out there if every little detail of this piece was high effort and perfect looking. Alright, the background's more or less finished, so I'll just go ahead and focus on the main guy again. I'll shade him with purple. I hear some people say sometimes that you shouldn't shade with purple, but I say you should shade with whatever color you want to shade with. There's nothing wrong with shading with purple. Of course, if you want your art to look a little more vibrant, you can try shading with whatever color neighbors the one you're shading on the color wheel. For example, shading green with blue or shading orange with red. Try it out, play around. I personally like the look of purple shading myself though, so if that's what you like, don't worry about what other people have to say about it. One of my favorite things that I heard from another artist years ago was that once you know the rules, you're allowed to break them. So if there's some rule about not shading with purple, as long as you know alternate options and how to improve, then there's nothing wrong with being a little rebellious. I like to go in and erase a thin line around all the edges of the shadows. It's a little tedious, but I think it gives it a nice effect. Almost done now, just gonna come in and recolor these outlines and then I'll add his eye details too. Now for finishing touches, I'm gonna add a subtle turquoise light around the flamingo on the background because it'll help him stand out a little bit. And then of course I'll add my signature and a couple color washes to make the whole thing look cohesive, and then we're done. So there we have it. I think I'm gonna call this one Flamingo Business Party. I don't know exactly what business party requires all the attendees to wear tuxedos, but maybe that adds to the stupidity of the thing. I'm a fan of stupid, I'm not complaining. Thanks for watching, and don't forget that you can participate too. If you want to give me some random prompts, give me 2 to 3 numbers between 1 and 236, and I'll pick prompts from the corresponding pages in another video. No guarantee I'll pick your suggestion, of course, but I'll definitely choose a few. For now though, I hope you all enjoyed attending the Flamingo Business Party, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!